Welcome back, everybody. I just wanted to do a little video here showing you the next step in the game design process. When we did our boundary sensing video, you'll remember that we created this level sprite. So if you click on it, you can see in the code, right now we don't have much in there. We have set our lives to 3, and that's about it for code. We're going to do one more thing, just because it's an important thing to do for items, is we're going to go to set our variable, and we're just going to set our points to 0, just so that we also have that in there, so our points always reset to 0 when we start our game, because that's something that's really important, especially as we move forward with the design. Now, you'll remember that when we designed this level, or essentially the basic level layout, we were in costumes, and we created a costume called level 1, and it has this sort of very, very basic level layout. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a level 2 that's slightly different, and we're going to add a little bit more code to change things up for how level 2 works. So what we're going to do, you can do this one of two ways. We can either mouse over this, right click and duplicate it, or you can mouse over your little choose a costume and hit the paintbrush. I'm going to right click and duplicate because I'm going to find that a little bit easier. You'll notice that it automatically updates to level 2 there. If it doesn't for you, just make sure you put level 2 in as your name. I'm going to grab my pointer or my selection tool. I'm just going to delete a few things here, but I'm going to leave the main level layout box around the outside because that's a good starting point. Making sure that it says convert to bitmap here because it should be in vector mode. You'll be able to tell because these icons on the side here look a little bit cleaner, a little smoother. So I'm going to choose my line tool, remembering that if I hold down shift, it'll snap to 45 degrees. I'm going to click, drag, holding shift, and I'm just going to build in a little bit of a more complicated level layout here. It doesn't have to be crazy complicated, but just something a little bit different, a little bit of a variation. Maybe add, a few rooms for your character to explore, and a few sort of pathing opportunities for your enemy minions to interact with. So very, very basic. I'm not doing a lot here because I'm not designing sort of a fully functional game yet. I'm just giving you the basics of the coding. We're going to get into that in a later video where I really start to build out sort of the design, the art aspects of it. But right now we're just worried about coding. So important thing is though, level equals 2. So level 1, level 2, they're both within the level sprite. And now I'm going to show you how to switch between levels and use variables to do that. First thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go back to code, and we are going to want to add one more variable. So we want to add a level variable. So let's click on make a variable. We're going to type in level and click OK. And we're going to do a set level in the background here. So we're going to set our level to 1 to start the game. That way, we have a variable that we can reference back to with other sprites when they need to check what level they're in for whatever behaviors they might happen to have associated with that. Okay, so we're going to set level to 1. Now let's add a few little bits of code into here. Let's decide what's going to make us switch to level 2. Now there's lots of different ways you can do this, and it's totally up to you, but what I'm going to do for our game is I'm going to use points as a level as a level trigger. Now you can use points and something else, but for now we're just going to start with points, and you can up the level of complexity if you want in your own games, and I can also add some more videos on that later. So we've got 4 donuts in our game. Each one of those should give us a point, and so what I want us to do is basically when the points equal 4, we're going to switch the levels. So remember, now this is a little bit different bit of code. I'm not going to do a forever if statement. I'm going to actually use a control statement, and we're going to put all our level code in here. We're going to add a wait until, and I like a wait until sometimes, especially especially when you're moving between things, between levels, for instance. I just find it's a useful way of having something trigger once as opposed to a forever check, which continually will go on and on. Sometimes can get us caught in these little loops where it'll lock us in position or it'll cause some other glitch. So a wait until is a nice one because it only occurs once and then it does the behavior. So we're going to go to operators because we need to check our variable. And we are going to go to wait until equals. So wait until, we're going to go to variables. We've just created the level variable. So wait until level equals, sorry, not level, pardon me, points. Wait until points equals 4. And then we are going to go to looks. We're going to switch costume to level 2 because that's the costume. Remember here, level 2. But if we're switching costume to level 2, remember, we always have to set what our starting point as well. So we're going to drop a switch costume in here as well to level 1. Because you got to start at level 1, then you'll go to level 2. If you don't have that start at level 1, it'll work the first time, but then it will be default on level 2 the next time you play the game. So wait until points equals 4, switch to level 2, and we're going to add an event. We're going to broadcast a message. Broadcasts are a great way to send out a message to other sprites in the game, and it's a good way to basically trigger certain behaviors. You can see we also have a when I receive message, so you can broadcast and receive. So let's broadcast a message. Click in message, click new message. We're going to call this message level 2. And click OK. So basically it's just going to send something that says level 2, and if other sprites have a when I receive, they will activate this block of code. So wait until points equals 4, switch costume to level 2, and broadcast level 2. Now, we now will have the game's level design switch, but we might want to actually add some more behaviors in that also rely on the level switching. So let's do that as well. There's some important parts of this that you're going to need to use in your own game. So we're done with the level 2. Let's give it a quick test though. So we're in level, of course, we're in level 1. I'm going around and I get my 4th point and perfect. And I died. Okay. So what occurred is, if we go back to level 1. So in level 1, I built this sort of very, very simple level. And I've got this bat patrolling this area back and forth. And then this one follows this path around the outside where he guards the donuts, right? And then I switch over like this to level 2. And what happens is that the pathing no longer makes sense for level 2. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how to update both minions and items for level 2.